Hello all, Shadwell here, ready to talk about the next film in my collection, The Dead Live from 2006. It's the 15th film in the Decrepit Crypt of Nightmares collection, is directed by Darren Patterson, and stars Emily Hughes and Tom Hughes Jr. Holy fucking shitballs. This movie is absolute dreck. I can't say it's the worst because that trophy is still held by another Decrepit Crypt of Nightmares movie, The Veil, but I'll be damned if this movie doesn't come close. The biggest difference between the two movies is I was able to finish The Dead Live, but just barely. I was leaning forward in my chair the last 5 minutes, and not in the good way. I was eagerly anticipating the end of the film, not by action, but by keeping an eye on the runtime timer. Where to begin with this crap? With a side note, I guess. This was a brand new 4K DVD player that had played the last few films perfectly fine, and I checked the disc and it was without scratches, which leads me to believe the film's master itself was to blame for the many editing errors that are common with digital footage, like screen tearing and freeze frames every once in a while where they definitely weren't a conscious choice. However, this might be a disc defect, so I'm not going to deduct points for this problem, but I am going to mention it in case the disc isn't to blame. The actors in the movie were terrible, save the 3 roles the director played himself. Those roles had a lot of fun in them, and clearly the rest of the cast didn't get the memo. They all deliver their lines like it's a race to get to the end of the shot. This is another Decrepit Crypt of Nightmares film that was total shit except for the camera work, which was, as I've said before, competently done. I think what's going on here is these films have directors who know a thing or two about framing a shot well, and maybe a couple other things about behind the camera work, but everything in front of the camera is beyond their control. Shit actors tripping over shitty dialogue in shitty scripts. I keep seeing it, and the only thing that's different is the varying degrees of awful in each movie from this collection. It almost makes me mad for giving When Heaven Comes Down the nice treatment a few reviews back. This film is the epitome of zero-budget filmmaking, which doesn't need to be a death sentence if everyone was just as fun-loving and animated in their roles as the director was as the sheriff, mortician, and SWAT officer. But they weren't, and so this film gets an F- from me. Tomorrow we go back to the Coming to America mini-marathon with the film The Penalty from the American Silent Horror Film Collection. See y'all then.